What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to Crypto Empire, where we dominate the crypto market. My name is Connor, and this is another Crypto Empire live stream. This one coming in very late on a Friday, but nonetheless, let's get right into the charts and talk about what we're expecting here again in the immediate short term as we do come to the end of the month of June. So I'm just going to have our chat open at the same time over here as we do stream so that we can look at that together. But anyways, let's get into our crypto market overview. Currently, Bitcoin is trading for $107,000. Ethereum still at 2,400. Really, the market's been very flat. We haven't really seen too much volatility on the main coins. Yes, there are some outlier random altcoins pumping, dumping like they usually do. But things are relatively sideways as we are waiting for the next directional move. Looking at the crypto bubbles top 100, we have some action on some altcoins today. We can see Pengu is up 16%. Remember, I made that video about gaming not too long ago, and I put Pengu in that video. Okay. Looking at it on the daily time frame, structure looks good and it's showing strength. Remember how we've been discussing how a lot of these altcoins lost their support levels and like they're trading below them? Some of them haven't, like Pengu, right? As you can see on the daily, it is now convincingly trading above with a strong daily close. This important support resistance flip level down here right at around a penny. Okay, so some markets are really showing some strength while other ones, for example, like Tau, again, are not showing any strength and still trading below their crucial support resistance pivot points, right? For Tau, that's up here at 350. So it's a mixed bag currently. And getting back to the top 100 over here, right? It's a mixed bag over here as well. Some green, some red on the day. Let's get into our majors. See what's going on here in our live chat, guys. We got Fiat Hater, what's up, Fiat Hater? We got Lab Ert, what's going on? Joey Joe in the building, Recon Runner, Niraj as well, and we got Trucker Steve's Trucker Steve with his 18-wheeler, and he is rolling. We got Dan Bavario. What is going on, everyone? Great to see you all. So let's get into the majors, guys. First off, Bitcoin. Okay. So again, plan remains the same from our last live stream. We are up here at a critical resistance level. Why is this level up here critical resistance? Well, what we want to do is we just want to look to the left on the chart on the daily time frame. Okay? And as you can see, if we look to, let's actually stay in the 12-hour. But if we look over here to the left on the 12-hour, and we just drop a line right here, okay? Now, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see the important, support resist, just this whole general area up here, okay? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see all of this. And as you can see as well with price, it's just kind of stalling out here, right? This is big resistance up here, $107,000 to $108,000. Now, look, I know a lot of people right now, after last weekend's sell-off, right, with the whole bombing in Iran, price sold off, and then on Sunday evening, we had a really, really strong reaction. Bitcoin is the strongest coin in the market, right? Money came back in here substantially, while on altcoins, money has not flown back in. But we're facing a stagnation up here at 108K. We're stalling out, all right? Big resistance. Maybe we just see a quick, big move up here to new all-time highs. If we see that, I think it will be unsustainable. It is more sustainable to go lower and get some liquidity. Like always, nothing's changed. So there's still the 12-hour level over here, okay, which is at $103,350, down to around 102K. This is still the level to look for a pullback into. In terms of the measurement from current price, this is around a 4% pullback, 3.7 to around 4%. Right to the bottom of the 12-hour zone, it's around 5%. Okay, so around 4 to 5% lower. It is the level of interest if we do get this pullback, to try and long it to new highs. That hasn't changed. Now, let me pull up a clean Bitcoin chart without any of these markings on it. All right, and we're just going to draw a simple channel. Okay, we're just in this simple parallel channel right here. We have a horizontal level over here at 102K, right? But for the most part, what's going on the daily, on the 12-hour, it's all the same. Okay, we're trading in this channel with lower highs and lower lows right now. All right. Also up here at approximately 109,000 is the top of the channel. Okay, so right above current price, right? This whole area is big resistance. Now, if we were to pull back to that 12-hour level, which we can isolate on this clean chart, if we were to pull back to this 12-hour level here at around 103K, we have to be careful of the potential scenario of a downtrend continuation. All right. We could see something like a short bounce back up to around 104 to 106. Why do I say that? Because the yearly open is still on the table. Okay, the yearly open down here at 93K is still on the table. If we are not going to hold any of these support levels, we're coming down here. All right. So I'm warning you, there's going to be a lot of people saying, oh, you're too bearish. You're calling for the mid $90,000, but Bitcoin's about to go make a new all-time high. You're saying it's going to go to 93 now. You're too bearish, all these things. I don't care. It's a very real read that I'm seeing on the chart right now. It's a very real thing that can happen. So I think coming up here and saying that and telling you guys it's a real possibility is important, because if it does happen, you want to be prepared for some type of scenario. And let's see the reaction at 90 or 102, 103, right? The Monday mid-range. How does this line up with some of the other majors? Well, on USDT dominance, we still have this 12-hour level. However, the thing is, remember, we measured Bitcoin to the 12-hour level. It's like 4 to 5% away. For USDT dominance, this level is like 1% to maybe 2% away. So I really don't see it as too valid right now. Really, I would be looking at the fresh supply that formed over here last Saturday, right? It's on the 12-hour as well as the daily time frame, the same exact candle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of these old red supply zones, and I'm going to put a fresh red supply zone up here. Again, it's the same thing on the daily as well as the 12-hour time frames. Okay, so we have that. Just isolate this candle body, call it supply. 12-hour, it's the same exact candle body approximately. Okay, maybe we'll go a little bit lower to 5.02%. But nonetheless, this is fresh supply right now. And if we take a measurement, we see that a move up here to this fresh supply is what? Remember, Bitcoin to that zone lower, it was like 3.7% to the start of it to 5% at the distal line. Okay, to the proximal line here of this supply zone, we're looking at around 3.5%. To the distal line, it's 5%. So this matches up perfectly at this point in time. Okay, so the reason this 12-hour level over here at 4.9 is no longer too valid is because it was front ran. You see these wicks that almost came into it, but they didn't quite grab that liquidity. All right, so this gives it less significance now because it was front ran like this. It is more likely to get just eaten through and come up here to the supply zone at 5%. So this would line up again with Bitcoin down to 103, 102,800 down here. That's what we want to look for, and we can also use this as confluence for other long trades. If we did want to take other long trades on any altcoins, we would want to use for sure USDT dominance as confluence when it gets up here to this fresh supply area above 5%. If we're looking for longs on altcoins, we want to match that confluence up. All right, so mark those levels out on your own, and let's go ahead and continue on. So Bitcoin dominance now has made a new high. All right, we have a potential, and I say potential, double top forming. Why do I say that? Well, we finally have bearish divergence on the daily time frame. Okay, so a higher time frame bearish divergence. And with that, of course, we have price making the higher high with the RSI making the lower high, giving us that bearish divergence, telling us that this strong 2-3 year bullish trend is weakening up here inside of a major higher time frame supply level. As you can see here. So this goes all the way back here to 2021 as well as 2020, up here to around 66.5%. So we've taken most of this. We've taken over 50% of this large supply zone on Bitcoin dominance. We have signs of trend weakening. So we want to monitor this closely because it's really hard to call tops on Bitcoin dominance because it just wants to keep on going and going and going. Eventually it will top out. There is a world, I think it's very unlikely, that it might come back up here to like 70%, 72%. I don't think this will happen, but at this point in time, would it really be that shocking? No, it wouldn't, right? Bitcoin dominance is just a steamroller. But yeah, there's a potential double top forming right now. If this is going to be the top, I mean, that's good news. That's good news for altcoins, right? But it's too early to call the top just yet, so we want to keep on monitoring that situation. Let's go ahead and keep moving along now. So let's look at Ethereum versus Bitcoin, ETH BTC. And remember, we had this really small little weekly level. All right, we went over this last live stream over here from May of 2020 at 2.1 million Satoshis per Ethereum. And last week on the crash, this was, a major level that got taken finally. It was behind so many fair value gaps, right? 1, 2 right there. 2 fair value gaps just left behind for 5 years. Finally got taken. Okay, that provided some good confidence for long trades. At this point in time, it does look like if we're going to get that pullback we discussed on Bitcoin, we'll likely see this revisit the bottom, right? Maybe put in a double bottom. So look out for that. That's going to be at 0.0215 on ETH BTC. That's the weekly level from May of 2020. And other than that, if this thing was going to go lower, just here on the daily time frame, right? We have a massive fair value gap. This isn't perfect, but it is there. So there's that. And then, there's a partial over here on the daily, like a partial order block over here. It's not the greatest, but it's around 0.0202. So worth having it on the chart in case this level is broken. We know that if we come down here, it's a level of interest. And this is the same thing as like using any total liquidity chart as confluence for your altcoins or Bitcoin itself, right? Basically, you want to line it up so when these levels get hit, and let's say you want to long something, that would be confluence to long it. You probably understand that already, but just in case anyone is newer, I want to explain it. So the total market cap looks just like Bitcoin in the sense where we sold off really hard. A lot of money left the market, but it quickly came back in. And now, just like Bitcoin, it's facing big resistance. We can see struggling to get above this level. Okay, this is a previous swing high level from back here in February. In general, just like Bitcoin, it's just an important support resistance flip area. And as of right now, it's unable to flip. It's very close. It can easily get above this level and reclaim this 3.25 trillion. So we'll keep an eye on it. Now, we want to go ahead and I'll mark this as fresh daily demand. Okay, I would categorize this as fresh daily demand down here. And also the same thing. We also have a 12-hour level. Okay, so our 12-hour level is around 2% to 3% away from the current total market cap price. And the new daily demand zone is around 4% to around 5%. So remember, Bitcoin's level is like 4 to 5%. So we'll see the reaction. But we got this 12-hour behind this fair value gap, 3.17, 3.15, and we have the fresh daily level now at 3.1 to 3.05. Really important supports to hold, guys, because if it doesn't, well, it'll make a new low and come down here into the 2.81 trillion levels. Let's see what's going on here in the live chat, guys. Joey Joe, I said next directional move, but that's a good one. What else? We got Bavariana. What's up? Mihai. What's going on, Mihai from Romania? Still bullish on Naka and Rio. So as gaming and RWA projects, yes. In terms of their charts and current money flow, not necessarily, right? Because, I mean, it's just basing. May end up going lower, but in general, for any of these coins, any altcoin, we got to see a large amount of capital influx into this crypto ecosystem, and we just haven't had that. Okay, so for low caps like Naka and Rio, they're not going to perform unless we're in a risk-on environment for altcoins, and we're not there yet. We do have a super chat right now. Shout out to Labert with a $9.99 super chat. He says, when you get a chance, can you take a look at TARS? For sure we can do that, and thank you for the awesome super chat, man. We greatly appreciate that. Thank you for the support. Let's go ahead and take a look at TAI. Alrighty. So looking at TAI here, from when we last were charting it, we had a real big period of money coming into this asset. Huge explosion out of the April bottom. Right, it went like 7-8x in price. Then what happened? Well, we basically started to distribute. All right, on the daily time frame, you had this SFP swing failure pattern. Closed below it, that marked the top. From there, we were range bound, and then it broke this trend line, signaling that it was going to correct. Okay, and I did warn about this correction. It corrected quite hard, as you can see down here to this daily demand zone. Notice now the wicks, when it came into the zone last Saturday, as you can see, Saturday, Sunday of last week, price came into the zone, and it did wick below it. However, the candle bodies closed in it. So, yeah, this was perfectly taken. And as you can see, price never went below that wick. So that's just another example of a daily time frame demand zone playing out. Now, at this moment in time, huge pump and really no follow through as of right now. Okay. So for TAI, you're sitting at an important support at 8 cents. If it's gonna, my bias right now is we're gonna pull back, okay? Right, like I said, Bitcoin to around 103K, USDT dominance likely up to 5% again. So what does that mean? It means that coins are probably gonna pull back too. So with that being said, what I would be looking out for I already took all this on the 4 hour. I don't know. I see this lower level. I see this lower level at 5.5 cents. If I was going to do anything, like buy this coin, I would be waiting for down here. Right? There's a chance that the pullback, it only comes in and retest this level, right? Because we can call this a fresh daily demand zone over here at like 6-7 cents. But if I was going to do anything on this chart and if I wanted to buy this coin, I would be waiting for this demand zone that matches up with the quarterly open down here. I wouldn't make a move until this happens. Maybe I would look to short it if it was to spike up, but I wouldn't really do any risk on buying until this daily demand zone at like 5.5 cents to the quarterly open at 4.7 cents. And that's how I'm looking at TAI. Anyone feeling FOMO, if you, let's say you want to buy it here, if you feel FOMO and it did make this move lower, you know, you're looking at a 40% correction. So if you're comfortable with 40% drawdown, sitting in that for weeks to potentially months, well then, okay, buy it here. But if you're not comfortable, which any sensible trader or investor is not going to be comfortable with 40% drawdown, obviously you'd want to use a stop loss. But yeah, if you're not comfortable with that, well then you just wait. You wait until price comes to wholesale. All right? You want wholesale prices. Always be a buyer in wholesale prices. Where is wholesale? It's always going to be at the range lows. It's always going to be lower. It's always going to be at a price point in the chart where you look at it and you say 40%, it's never going to make its way down there. And then it does. But you didn't think it will, so you weren't prepared to buy that low. Guys, crypto is very unforgiving. If you're not patient, if you don't buy in wholesale, you're not going to have a good time at all. All right, so TAI wholesale prices, demand, 5.5 cents. Simple. But anyways, Labert, thank you for that super chat, man. This guy says, check Suppleman coin. I'm good. I don't care about Suppleman's coin. Joey Joe says he saw the Supplement coin the other day. That guy is a total idiot / scammer. And I agree with you, Joey Joe, there. Definitely agree with that. Definitely an idiot / the other thing you said. Shout out to Las Vegas Lady 83. What's going on? And we got Stan. Says, man, alt bottom in August or September. ETH will crash and find a bottom. So this is a really good comment, actually, from Stan. Right? Calling for a bottom in August. At this point in time, here's what needs to happen for that to be invalidated. Bitcoin needs to break this resistance, basically. Bitcoin needs to save the market right now. Because altcoins are just looking bleak. Yes, we can see volume and money come in an instant. For sure that can happen. Also, just look at this rally, right? Just look at this rally in terms of volume. Let's go to a clean Bitcoin chart again on Binance. Yeah, this shows it perfectly. All right, so look, we bottomed down here in April. Look how we pump out of this bottom on strong, high buying volume. Look at these green volume bars pumping out of the bottom in early April, okay? Over here, we consolidated, we stalled until April 21st. April 21st, we broke out again. Also, looking at the volume, decent, but not as strong as out of the bottom. Okay, we pump up here. We start to consolidate again. And then look at this breakout that happened on the 8th of May. Look at the volume. Okay, it's way lower than the breakout on April 20th, and it's significantly lower from the breakout on April 7th, which was the bottom. Okay, so this is this consolidation over here. We pumped up here on really low volume, and then what happened? We pumped to a new all-time high. Look at the volume. It's just weak. And then all of this range has just been low volume chop. So we got to see some buyers step in here. We got to see some buyers step in here. If not, I do think the sellers will win the imbalance And when there's an imbalance, when there is more sellers than buyers at prices in an extreme premium, what's to happen? It's going to go find levels where the buyers are. So Bitcoin needs to save the market right now, and that's the way I'm looking at things. Talking about a bottom in August. If Bitcoin does not save the market very, very soon, like I'm talking this week, put in a significant, and I mean a significant, weekly close past these prices. Like look up here on the weekly, right? If we look at this all-time high from December on the weekly, we just put a diagonal line there. Again, talking about why this level currently is big resistance. Well, look, just look to the left. That level from the all-time high in December at 108K, that's exactly where price is stalling right now. This is why I've been saying this is big resistance. So the market needs to get saved, and we need to see Bitcoin put in a convincing breakout like before the daily close or the weekly close tomorrow, right? Because it's basically Saturday now. We started the stream on Friday night. It is Saturday, like past midnight. So yeah, the weekly closes on Sunday. It needs to save the market or we're screwed for the next few weeks, I would say, for July. Just look to the left. Why is this resistance? It's pretty obvious why this is resistance. This is what's holding up current price. Needs to get through it. Altcoins are already showing the weakness. Right? Look at Doge, for example, really weak. Trading well below this critical support level that it was holding above over here. Okay, so yeah, basically if Bitcoin saves the market, I can see altcoins reclaiming these really key, pivot levels. If not, I'd say that Doge is going to go down here to 12 cents by August. That's my read on things. Not to be a broken record, but Bitcoin's got to save the market right now, lads. That's it. Just look to the left and you can understand why on the Bitcoin daily or weekly chart. But yeah, anyway, let's take another look at Doge over here. And we can basically just see how hard it's struggling. Okay, we had this period where a lot of money came in. Right? We pumped hard in early May. Where'd the money go? It all left. Okay? That's why we saw price revisit the lows from April. The money all left. At this point in time, for us to have some confirmation that it's returning, we need to see Doge get back above 17.2 cents. Otherwise, I'd say the money is going to continue to leave until price finds wholesale. All right, until price finds demand, where there's way more buyers than sellers waiting to push the price up. Where's demand? It's down here. So it's a simple read. It doesn't take a genius to see that this is currently in a downtrend. And yeah, maybe if Bitcoin can save the day, this downtrend is just going to reverse and we pump out of it. But how it looks right now, it is bearish. Anyways, we haven't even gotten through our news yet today. We've been going for half an hour. Let's cover some news right now, guys. A lot of people asking about coins, things like that. Let's take a look at our news first. So, Trump is shilling Bitcoin really hard, guys. Trump said today that Bitcoin takes a lot of pressure off of the dollar. It's a great thing. We can listen to this video clip right now.
It's become amazing. I mean, it's the jobs that it produces. And I notice more and more you pay in Bitcoin. I mean, people are saying it takes a lot of pressure off the dollar. And it's a great thing for our country. So
Trump is shilling Bitcoin. He also said Bitcoin is amazing and it's producing a lot of jobs.
And I was in Bitcoin then, not knowing if I was going to do it a third time. So it's become amazing. I mean, it's the jobs that it produces.
Trump is just shilling Bitcoin, guys, in the White House. Trump also wants Jerome Powell out. He wants him gone. All right, just today he said, Jerome Powell is a stubborn mule and a stupid person. Okay. And also, Trump says that he would love for Jerome Powell to resign. He's done a lousy job. So Trump really wants this rate cut in August. Or sorry, in July. Because there's no Fed meeting in August. So we got July, and then we got September. He really wants the cut in July. And he wants Powell out. Will that happen? Who knows? He's been talking about it for like months now. But of course, everyone wants the rate cut to print money and then have that money come over to the market to pump our coins. We'll see if that happens. In other news, Neuralink has implanted its telepathy brain chip in 7 humans and gained approval to launch trials in Canada and the United Arab Emirates. All right, so they are implanting the telepathy brain chip in 7 human beings. The world is getting super dystopian, guys, right? Every day we're inching closer with that totalitarian tiptoe, which again, the 2030 trade, right? Betting big on AI, betting big on AI power sources, energy, right? Because it's just data, which is the lifeblood of AI. It's the obvious trade right now. It's the obvious trade going into the new decade, and we're halfway through the current decade. So, yeah, things are going to really start to ramp up and accelerate in terms of the whole, transhumanism agenda, right? Merging humans with machines. And shout out to our guy Elon Musk, who's behind every single creepy, weird thing that exists when it comes to like transhumanism. Our boy Elon is right there with it all. So, just prepare yourself because this is just the beginning. In other news, we have the trade war. All right. So remember the tariffs, the big tariffs, which marked the bottom over here when the tariffs were paused. But, a lot of this crash was blamed on Trump's tariffs. They were just paused, okay? So they're still there. They're not canceled. And Trump said that he will terminate all discussions on trade with Canada. So Trump basically does not want to negotiate with Canada at all. And he says we will let Canada know the tariff that they will be paying to do business with the United States of America within the next 7-day period. He's not negotiating. He's just telling them how it is. So this could end up blossoming into the reason, right? This could end up blossoming into the reason that Bitcoin doesn't break out. Oh, the tariffs. Oh, it was the tariffs again, guys. Right? I can easily see this happening next week. It was the tariffs. Oh, Trump again. All this tariff stuff, that's what pushed the price down. Meanwhile, like I said, right, it's just Bitcoin struggling to essentially get through this very obvious higher time frame resistance. But no, the tariffs. So we'll keep an eye on this situation. And we know what the charts are telling us right now. We're basically at resistance in a current downtrend parallel channel. And the most likely move is going to be to the 12-hour, right over here at like 102,600. Let's keep moving through our news. So I thought this was hysterical, to be honest with you. Any UFC fans, you'll probably just, if you know who Dana White is, you'll think this is funny. But Vechain, ticker symbol VET, it is a long-standing cryptocurrency. Right, one of the OG coins, OG altcoins. And they've been sponsored or partnered with the UFC for a long time now. So let's just watch this clip to hear what Dana White has to say about Vechain. I'll try not to laugh.
I actually bought almost $1 million worth of Vechain. I own almost $1 million worth of Vechain right now. So I'm in every way that you could possibly be in with Sonny and Vechain. It's the only crypto I own. It's the only crypto I've ever bought. Yeah, I'm all in with Vechain. I actually bought.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, look, Dana is a hardcore gambler. But to hear him say it's the only one he's ever bought, I just don't. This is just like pure BS in my head, right? I think this is just straight cap. Straight cap. But yeah, I mean, the amount of shilling we are seeing by... Remember what I was saying a few weeks ago about how we need to see like a massive marketing campaign for altcoins because trust has been so diminished for them? Let's put 2 and 2 together here, guys. Right? Dana is... I don't want to call him a sellout, but look, I mean, he's a businessman, right? So just take everything with a grain of salt. And remember, massive marketing campaign for altcoins was needed. I told you weeks ago. And here we got Big Bad Dana shilling Vechain for the whole entire world to see right ahead of the biggest fight card of the year, UFC International Fight Week this Saturday. So yeah, I thought this was very, very funny and quite ironic, being everything that I've been discussing here on these streams. Just, wow, it's just happening, right? Anyways, moving on now. So Bhutan, which is a country over here, it's in Asia. It's by like the Himalayas. But they hold a lot of Bitcoin. So Bhutan is currently the 3rd largest sovereign holder behind China and the United States, holding almost $1.3 billion of Bitcoin currently. Right? Now, why? I mean, they have a lot of like natural power sources, a lot of running water from the mountains. So they're for sure doing a lot of clean mining over there in Bhutan, but they just keep on adding to their balance sheet, stacking. They are stacking Satoshi, stacking coins, holding over 12,000 Bitcoin, $1.3 billion. And this inspired me to check on the World Liberty Financial wallet. So I pulled that up, and I want to see what World Liberty Financial is currently holding. And at this moment in time, they are still holding very large positions in USDT, $85 million. In Ethereum, they have wrapped Ethereum, $19 million. They have $17.5 million in wrapped Bitcoin, 16.3 million USDC, and another 12.1 million in staked Ethereum. So they have altogether around 31 million in Ethereum, $11 million in TRX, $8 million in White, 3.5 in Mantle. Okay, so they got a shitcoin portfolio over here, right? The World Liberty Financial wallet, they're still holding. This is a proxy for Trump, right? This is another marketing campaign, basically, because they know people look at this. And this is what they're currently holding, worth $180 million. So that's quite interesting. But anyways, back to Vechain over here. So talking about how altcoins are weak and, you know, damage repair needs to happen or these things are going to head lower. Vechain's another market that's really struggling right now. So we have Dana White shilling it in the media, saying he bought $1 million and he's all in on the coin. Meanwhile, if we look at this thing, right, look how it just lost the quarterly open support level. All right, this was a big support, and price lost it. Is really weak currently. Now, some people might be looking at this and saying, like, this is higher time frame demand. Like, look at this. This is the level. Like, it has to bounce from here. It must. Is it though? No, it's not. Okay, look on the weekly. So if you look on the weekly over here, I'd say this is a really important weekly level at 1.4 cents. Around 30% lower from current price. And this was the bottom in 2023 before a huge run up. Okay, this is where buyers greatly exceed sellers. This is where we've seen massive spikes in price in the past down here. All right, and with this support level really hanging on by a thread, I would be weary of a situation where we see another 30% decline to a key level, to higher time frame wholesale prices. I'm going to keep repeating myself, guys. You want to buy in wholesale. I don't really constitute this as wholesale. I think wholesale is at the extremes, and I would constitute this as wholesale. Okay? Now, in order for me to be bullish on this thing, just like all the other coins that are trading below their lost support levels, looking really weak, they need to reclaim previous swing highs. And for Vechain, the most relevant previous swing high is at 2.6 cents. right? This is what, 30% away? Yeah, 30% away. So in order for Vechain to be bullish, it needs to trade above this swing high. If not, watch for it to go to these higher time frame extreme discounts at 1.5 cents. That's the way I'm looking at most coins right now, guys. All right, let's see if we can find something that is stronger and isn't trading below its key pivot. Look at TIA. I mean, bad example because this thing is just a VC scam. But all this is just drainage. This chart is max extraction. All these, right, zero in this demand, but same thing. How it lost this support, and it just essentially can't catch a bid below that support. Something like Telegram ton, like, guys, I hope you see what I'm outlining here with my analysis. Okay, here is that big support, very obvious support. We can call it $2.92. Price breaks through it, retests it, bearish retest. All right, so for something like TON to be bullish, it needs to reclaim the previous swing high. Where is that? It's up here. $3.04. As of right now, all I'm seeing is price lost support, flipped it into resistance, retested it, rejected. So unless it gets saved and quickly pumps up above the previous swing high and closes above it, it's going to trade lower. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Don't shoot the messenger. It is what it is. Whiff, same thing, man. Doesn't take a genius to see that this was a really big support. Price goes through it, comes back up, loses it again. Still trading below it. This is at 80 cents approximately on Dog with Hat. So yeah, same thing. It's got to reclaim, previous swing high levels at 90 cents in order for this thing to be bullish. Bonk, Brett, they're all weak, man. They are all so weak. It's painful to look at, to be honest with you. Right? I know people are bullish right now. Just look at these charts, man. You guys see what I see, right? Like, okay, look at this support. Lost it. Goes through bearish retest. This thing has to catch a bid quickly, or it's going to revisit the lows from April. So Fartcoin is a leading risk-on indicator. Right? Whenever the market makes a violent comeback, Fartcoin is always going to lead the charge. Right? That's what's happened like every time. Right? It led the charge out of the bottom over here in March and April. The rest of the altcoins bottomed on April 7th. By that point in time, Fartcoin was already up 100% off of its lows, and it just kept on going and going and going. Right? So Fartcoin's a leading risk-on indicator. Fartcoin leads. The rest of the market follows. Is Fartcoin leading right now, guys? Is it leading right now? Looking at the current price and the current daily candlestick chart, which we're on right now. Be honest, no. It's the same exact thing as all the other charts we've basically looked at. Look at our red zone here. This was a daily supply level. Completely used up at this point, but still relevant. Look at the bottom line of the red zone. All right? That's a support. That's support, really. Right? Support 1 time, 2 time, 3, 4, 5. Finally gets broken through on the 5th attempt. Price comes back up and tries to break through it again. Bearish retest, rejection. So Fartcoin as a leading risk-on indicator, trading below its pivot currently, is not really a great sign for the market. Now, trust me, I'd love to be wrong here, but it's a downtrend. It's a very clear downtrend to me. again, on the daily over here, another reason that we should be really cautious was this rally from March to the top over here in late May, was using this trend line. This trend line got broken through. Price came over here to support. We bounced. Where did it go? Perfect bearish retest of the trend line. From that point, price goes ahead and it breaks market structure and makes a new low. Yes, it's using the daily 200 EMA as support over here. However, the technicals, everything is pointing to more weakness than strength. Okay, so where would there be more buyers than sellers? Higher time frame demand, weekly demand down here at 56 cents at the quarterly open for Fartcoin. This thing's a leading risk on indicator, and it's not leading anything currently. It's actually looking super weak, like basically every alt. Basically all of them. All right, I'd be interested in Aave closer to 200. Bitcoin Cash is interesting. Talk about the opposite of everything we've discussed right now today. All right, remember how I was saying how like money was leaving the market on a lot of these coins? Well, money just keeps on coming into the market on Bitcoin Cash. Okay, what is Bitcoin Cash? It's a fork of Bitcoin. It has a larger block size, meaning that it's just faster. Okay, it's almost identical to Bitcoin, but it's just kind of a more faster usable version. The founder, Roger Ver, is being persecuted by the authorities, by the powers that be, for creating Bitcoin Cash, right? But this thing's just been catching a bid constantly. By the way, we got the secret juice today, guys. So Bitcoin Cash is the opposite. It's really strong. But right now looks like the perfect time to short, to be honest with you. Okay? Perfect time to short. 500. Sweeping the Monday. No, not the Monday high. You're above the Monday high, and you swept the previous week high with bearish divergence. Now, there is this supply zone at 533. Right? It's tough trying to short this thing because it's just on a steamroller up higher. And it's really like one of the strongest altcoins in the market currently. But yeah, if we're going to see a correction, like one of our live viewers said, into August, which I think is a very real possibility, we want to be looking for signs of this topping out. We currently have signs of this topping out. Also, we just look to the left over here. All right, we had this swing high. So this is another swing failure pattern. I think it's worth it to try and short Bitcoin Cash here because the risk is pretty tight. Okay, you can risk 3%. And let's say you're looking for a move down to the monthly. Okay, that's a 16.5% move. I would probably front run it as a target. So I would probably go around $425 as a target. And that is a 4.6 to 1 trade. I think it's worth taking a stab the way it looks right now. Resistance, swing failure patterns, bearish divergence, sweeps, major overextension at a time where the market looks weak in general. What do you guys think? You bullish on Bitcoin Cash? I mean, I do see it trading back over here to like $800, but it doesn't mean it won't pull back. And for coins like this that are really strong, they're not likely going to go to these quarterly open levels. Same thing with like Hyperliquid, another really strong asset. Let's pull up Hype. Right. This is another one that's super strong. Not really budging too much. Not really like losing. Remember, most coins that I've looked at today, right, they're all trading below this support. Right. Most coins are like trading down here. I've illustrated that pretty clearly. That should be clear, right? Look at something like Hype. Look at something like Bitcoin Cash. They are well above these critical pivot levels. So that means if we were to sell off that, I don't really expect them to drop as much because they're showing a substantially higher bid, right? There's way more buyers in these markets for these coins. So that's why for Hyperliquid, I would look for a sweep of the lows of the range into the weekly fair value gap around $28. Guys, be sure to smash up the like button if you're enjoying this live stream. I really appreciate all the support. Joey Joe says he can't wait to become a transhuman. That's pretty funny. We got some UFC fans in here. Ilya for the win. Heavy favorite. But yeah, I would not be able to bet against Ilya Taporia. Let's see. We got 4set5. He says, you think once Bitcoin dominance is topped out, maybe Ethereum takes more out of the alts due to no retail and only ETF buying? Could that be a scenario where only Bitcoin and ETH dominance go up? I mean, that could be a scenario, yes, where altcoins just never catch a bid and all the money goes to Ethereum. But if we were to see Ethereum money flow, there would be a house money effect, okay? Because a lot of retail is holding Ethereum. So if Ethereum was to catch a pump, a lot of retail people, right, including myself as holding some ETH, right, I would have a lot of house money that I didn't have before, and that makes people inclined to gamble. Where do they gamble? In lower altcoins. So I think that would just be a natural kind of order of effect if that were to happen. Let me see. Let's take a look at a few more coins. You guys are asking about Arweave, which is a AI coin, so we can take a look at that. Talk about weakness, guys. Like, so Arweave, talk about weakness, talk about money leaving, right? We can see money coming in here, but it left just as quick. So this thing looks weak as lead. All right. Let's just kind of break this down pretty simply, guys. Where is the wholesale price? Where have we seen in the past price react really, really positively? Where's the extreme discount? Is it here? This is like Blue's Clues. Is it here? Is it here? It's obviously over here, right? So I wouldn't be too inclined to start bidding Arweave just yet. I probably would be waiting for these lower levels over here. Go to the 2 week. Okay, on the 2 week, let's get rid of this. On the 2 week, I'm just going to isolate the bodies. I'll keep my orange lines from years ago. I don't remember putting them on, but yeah. Okay, so the 2 week has this as demand. That's the higher time frame, starting at 420. On the 3 week, a little bit different. I would measure all of this. Did get tested in the 1 month. Okay, so the 1 month has this. A super small, refined level. Okay. So we'll just leave that monthly there because it gives us a small little price level to work with, from $4.13 to $4.25. In my opinion, this whole general area is the spot to be a buyer, okay? But if we're going to refine the level, I'd use that monthly at $4.25 for Arweave. I wouldn't move a finger. I would not press any buttons until Arweave got down here. And it's close. It's really close. It's only 8% away. And I would be willing to be a buyer from 425 to the bottom here at like 370. This is not a coin that I want to buy, by the way. I'm just saying in general, looking at the chart, this is how I would play it. But yeah, I mean, talk about weakness. Talk about price unable to hold, right? We were just looking at Hyperliquid and like all the strong coins, right? They're above these supports, okay? The very few select strong altcoins, Bitcoin, not an altcoin, but like Bitcoin's up here. Strong altcoins are like over here. Weak altcoins are trading below this support like over here. And then you got Arweave at the bottom. So, I mean, talk about weakness. This thing is really weak. As well as altcoins in general. So, I would be waiting for that very higher time frame demand level. Wholesale. Be a buyer in wholesale. Sell at retail prices. We're close to wholesale, but we're not there yet, guys. And we are going to look at one more request. So, I mean, I see, Natty, I see you asking about Say. I see you. Say's an outlier. It's quite strong. There's a daily level over here at 24 to 23 cents. But I'd say that, no, if we're going to correct, I think it goes lower. Daily demand at 21, as well as the quarterly. But yeah, Say is a very strong market compared to a really weak market in the rest of these altcoins. Right? Look how it's trading, or it did trade above the previous swing highs. Right? So it closed above a previous swing high, it pulled back. Yeah, this one's really strong compared to the rest of these alts. Something's going on with Say. But if we're going to see Bitcoin dominance go back up to this new fresh daily supply level at 5%, I would be looking for it to pull back. And then last one over here, Vechain, really weak market, just like Arweave. I would say wait for the higher time frame discount, and for that it's going to be over here like 2.7, 2.8 cents. Look on the weekly time frame, you will see the demand level. Let's see on the 3 week, on the 1 month. No, on the weekly it's there at 2.8 cents. All right, guys, but that's what I'm seeing right now as we head into the weekend. It's really not looking great, and the only way to save this thing, in my opinion, is for Bitcoin to save the day and put in a really convincingly strong weekly candle close here. If not, I would be looking out for that pullback, first of all, on Bitcoin to $103,000. That should line up with USDT dominance retesting 5%. And then from there, you basically have to say it will go to a new all-time high or fail, and then we're going to trend lower for the month of July. And probably bottom in August. So yeah, this is a big moment of truth here. We need Bitcoin to save the day. It's very simple. I have a very simple read on it. If it's not clear what I'm looking for, rewatch this live stream because I took a lot of time to really break it down today, guys, as well as altcoins and how I am looking at them. Charts don't lie. And for altcoins especially, the charts ain't looking great. So we'll see how we go. I'll be live again Saturday and Sunday, guys. So it's time to smash it. Hope you enjoyed this stream. Smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, and be sure to turn on that bell notification so you don't miss anything and you are notified when I do go live again. If you're interested as well, apply to the Crypto Empire Mastermind using the link down below. Sign up to Blofin using my affiliate link that can give you access to a private Telegram chat where I share market analysis. And yeah, if you're interested, you need to sign up with my Blofin link. All the information is down in the description below. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. My name is Connor from Crypto Empire. Thank you for all being here. Appreciate the support, and I'll see you in the next video.